Okay guys, this is Josh with Gun Times, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We are stepping back a few years, going back in time to the Mexican War. Today we are doing a reproduction of the 1841 Mississippi rifle. Why is it called a Mississippi rifle? Well, interesting story. So in the Mexican War, now most of the world's armories at the time still used a smoothbore musket, including ours, including the United States. So in the Mexican War, a guy by the name of Jefferson Davis commanded a regiment of Mississippians, and they went and fought in Mexico. Now, Jefferson Davis, as most of you probably do know, became the president of the Confederate States of America. So give us a few minutes. We're going to load this thing up, and what we've got. So now most weapons of the time, backing up a little bit here, were smoothbore, and they used just a lead round ball. Now this, of course, too, you used a lead round ball, but with a greased patch. I don't know if you can really see that very well or not. Now later on in the war, now the originals were 54 caliber, and it was rifled, so you used a patched round ball, and then later on it also saw some use in the Civil War as well. Now with the invention of the mini ball, a Frenchman by the name of Manet invented the conical bullet, which had a convex or hollow base, in which case that allowed it to expand and grip the rifling, and you did not need a patch for that as well. So most of them were rebored by the Civil War, and they saw use in certain southern units in the American Civil War as well. So to load this thing, now it is a process. You know, an average man could load, I believe it was 3 shots a minute. If you were a really good soldier, you could get up to 4 shots a minute. So first, what we're going to do, to make it simple, we're just going to use the mini ball. So what I'm using, I've got my powder measure. Now back then, what they did is they made what were called paper cartridges with the projectile and the powder all in one. I did not make any of those paper cartridges, so we are just going to load this thing up the old-fashioned way. So I'm using real black powder for this. I'm not using any of that substitute stuff. This is real, genuine black powder. So, and just for this, I'm using 65 grains. And it's quite the labor-intensive process. So, put the powder down the barrel, projectile on top, take your ramrod. Now, with black powder, you want to make sure and seat that bullet all the way down, because as anybody who might know already, if you've got gaps in there between your powder and your projectile, that becomes a what? Pipe bomb. Exactly. So we've got our 65 grains of black powder in there. Now, how do you get it to ignite? Well, it uses a percussion cap. So little mercury, tiny little, and I don't know, again, if you guys can really see this little thing or not, but that goes over the cone, and then voila, you are ready to go. So I am going to see if I can just freehand this at 100 yards. So give me just a second here, see if I can figure out where to hold this sucker. All right. Okay. All right, not sure if I hit it or not. Okay, so this is Gun Times, and I am here with Officer Tyler Blair, he seen the 1841 Mississippi and wanted to give it a shot. So, all right, go ahead when you're ready.
Let's do it.
Just pull her all the way back and let her fly.
Bullseye too. Perfect.
Look at that.
Good deal.
They don't get much better than that. He put that thing right through the center. So I tell you what, man, you know, shooting this thing is really cool, but just watching you do it, seeing somebody else do it is really cool.
Right.
So
right. And it's pretty simple too. I mean, you just put it right on, and yeah, it's very accurate. I
yeah,
like
it is surprising.
Yeah.
So. All right.
I think we should put these in our squad cars. I think that'd be good. No.
You're good for one, and then they'd have you.
Yeah, no kidding. Hold on, let me put some Ammo Black powder in it.
Yep. If you're an average shot, you'd have about 3 a minute.
Right.
If you were an average soldier. So.
Jeez.
All right. Well, thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So, like I mentioned, Mexican War, most guns were smoothbore. This one is rifled, so if you can imagine the difference between a smoothbore musket and a rifle, I mean, you could clear your own path before the smoothbore muskets were even in range. So just gonna load this thing up again, using 60 grains of powder, just using a relatively light load, and 58 caliber mini ball. Put her in there like so. Oof, she's getting fouled up, boys. All right, and again, you want to make sure that the projectile is seated all the way down on top of the powder. You don't want to leave any air in there. Otherwise, in effect, what you have is a pipe bomb. So that would ruin your day in a hurry. Okay, and then you want to put your percussion cap on here. Coincidentally, by the way, you're doing all of this while people are firing at the enemy troops are firing at you. So pull her back to half cock, put your cap on, and then you are ready. Get away from this berm here. Okay. All right. And then reload, go through the process all over again. So, I know what you're thinking. Seems kind of tedious. Why on earth would they do that? Well, it's because they hadn't invented self-containing metallic cartridges yet. So, unfortunately, this is what you had to do every time you pulled the trigger. You had to go through this process. So, again, we don't always do the modern guns. We do a little bit of everything here at Gun Times, and thanks to General Coin and Gun Exchange, they have one. And since I'd never fired one of these before, I figured, you know what? I am going to just go ahead and try one. So, that being said, just load her back up and shoot it again. Okay. I'm going to put my earplugs back in. Oofta. Getting a little loud. I'm sharing the range today. There is a certain police department out here today doing their qualifications today. So they've been giving her hell out here. But okay. So before I do that though, I'm gonna make sure my hammer's down. All right, again, I'm just using 60 grains of powder. You know, you can use more than that probably, but just to be safe, that's what I'm using. So, oh yeah, she's getting gummed up pretty good. Should be fun cleaning this thing tonight. So again, the 1841 Mississippi was used, first saw use in the Mexican War. Went up against Santa Anna. Now Santa Anna's troops primarily were armed with surplus Brown Bess muskets, and we were using, I believe it was the 1840 or 1842 Springfield, which again was that was also a smoothbore musket as well. So okay, so I've got 60 grains of powder in there, got my projectile in there, And put my cap on. Do I have my earplugs in? I do. Got the cap back on. And I don't know, hopefully you guys can see this. My camera work might not be the greatest. All right. Okay. Whoofta, that sure does throw off some smoke. Throws off some smoke pretty darn well. Whoofta. So, all right. Well, guys, I'm just going to load it up, shoot it again. I don't know if these guys want the range or not, but I'm not going to get in their way. If for some chance they do, I think rain is coming. They probably want to get their stuff done. So I am going to just finish this up. Again, as always, thanks for watching. We always try to do something a little bit different that maybe not everybody else has done. Okay, and I always wait just a skosh, just to make sure there aren't any other glowing embers in there, so when I pour my powder down the barrel, it doesn't flash in my face. So, okay. So, pour my powder down. 58 caliber round ball. I tell you what, sure does make you appreciate a self-contained cartridge, doesn't it? Oh yeah. She's gumming up pretty good. And I know I fired less than 20 rounds out of this thing today. Can you imagine firing a full complement, say 60 rounds, give or take, standing? Because you got to stand to load these things. All right. And, okay. Get her situated here. Okay. I tell you what, guys, this really is a lot of fun. It really takes you back, really makes you appreciate the way we have it now, how easy we have it. We just load a magazine of 30 or whatever into our AR, or load a few rounds into our hunting rifle, you know, and go to work. These guys, I mean, they did not have it that simple. And if you look, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but look at all that black powder around the hammer. I'm sure my face might be getting a little gray too. I can certainly taste it. But, I mean, if you look, it sure did make them beautiful back in the day, did they not? They just don't make guns like that anymore, for sure. So, okay. Let's just load her up and shoot her again, just for the sake of science. And if you can see, shooting black powder, you really get dirty. I tell you what, I'm glad Luke let me take this thing with me today to do some shooting with. I really enjoy the heck out of this stuff. So again, I'm just using 60 grains. Now I'm using triple F powder. It recommends double F, but that's all he had. So I'm using just a little bit lighter charge of triple F, and so far it seems to be working pretty good. So, all right. So again, get your ramrod out. Oh, and so that one's gummed up pretty good. So I'm going to grab what is called a ball starter and tamp her down. And again, like I said, can't stress it enough. Want to make sure that you get it all the way down. Any gaps in there, you have a pipe bomb in your hand. Not that I'm an expert, but okay. Oofda. Yep, getting dirty. I think it's about time to call this. All right. So one more, and then we are going to call it game here. Rain's coming. This has been the 1841 Mississippi rifle. in 58 caliber. You can pick this thing up at General Coin and Gun Exchange. I think right now you can get, they have a red tag sale going on. You can get this one for $400. If you look online, a lot of the reproductions that you see out there are well over $1,000. So if this is something you're interested in, give them a call, check out their website, or just stop in there in Eau Claire. So if you like our videos, as always, don't forget to subscribe, check out General Coin and Gun Exchange, and thanks for watching.